live on your tablet, phone, and the KUTV app. This is 2 News Live.
Thanks for joining us on 2 News Live. I'm Brian Schnee. It's an election day here in Utah, Tuesday, November 21st. We're a little bit later than the other states this year for our elections. There are some things that went into that. We're going to go in depth on it, but before we do that, we're going to talk to 2 News' Amanda Gilbert, who's talking to us about new allegations against Tim Ballard today. So that's what we've got on tap here. Of course, if you'd like to get in touch with us throughout the show, you can always do that by using the hashtag 2NewsLive to join our conversation. You can obviously reach out on social media as well. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all that. That is how you can find us. So, of course, we're following the new developments here regarding Tim Ballard. Another group of 5 people have filed a lawsuit against him and Operation Underground Railroad. Amanda Gilbert joining us live now after speaking to one of those women who filed complaints against Ballard. There were a number of them that were speaking today. Amanda, what did she have to tell you?
Yeah, Brian, I spoke with a woman named Bree Ryder, and I might refer to my notes during this just to make sure I don't say anything incorrectly. But for the first time, we are hearing from Bree Ryder. She is a Marine veteran, and she actually lives in Virginia. She flew to Salt Lake City to speak today. So I'm going to talk about 2 instances mentioned in the lawsuit. Again, she is suing Tim Ballard and Operation Underground Railroad. So one of the things talked about in the lawsuit is Ryder says she was actually badly injured while training at a gym in the area, training for Operation Underground Railroad. And she says in the lawsuit that Ballard refused to call an ambulance. She says it was a pretty severe head injury. She described the injury to me. She said she is dealing with a lot of that. She's dealing with PTSD from that. So that is one of the things she talked to me a lot about today, Brian.
Amanda, you also spoke to her about a specific OUR trip that she went on. What did she have to say about this trip, and when did this take place?
Yeah, the lawsuit mentions another trip, actually shares pictures from that trip. It was an undercover mission or, quote, fishing trip called Operation Marcel in the British Virgin Islands. Well, in the lawsuit, Ryder says that this trip had no clear or discernible purpose, and Ryder says that she was inappropriately and sexually touched while there, and also while at a strip club in Salt Lake City training for this specific mission. So there's a lot of details about that in the lawsuit. Coming up tonight at 10, I'm going to break down more details from the lawsuit, and you'll hear more about Ryder, why she is wanting to speak up now. Back to you, Brian.
All right, Amanda, thank you very much. Over the past couple of months, we've done a number of stories on Tim Ballard, the accusations he's facing. You can find our past reporting on our website, KUTV.com. It's election day here in Utah. You can vote in person or drop off your ballot at any drop box. And of course, we'll get to all of those races happening tonight. And do us a favor, don't try to mail in your ballot now because you're too late. District 2 is one of the most highly anticipated. Republican Celeste Malloy and Democrat Kathleen Reby both trying to replace Chris Stewart, who resigned earlier this year. Heidi Hatch joining us live here on 2 News Live at the Malloy campaign party. I'm assuming it's a little bit early for any party to be really happening, Heidi, but I know how we do things. How is Celeste approaching this evening, and what has she been saying just about the race so far? I know we've talked to her a number of times about this.
Well, no party yet. It's supposed to start at 7:30. We are in West Valley City at the Utah Truckers Association. That's where they'll be holding their party this evening. It was kind of a change from her original plans to be in southern Utah and Cedar City. She is a graduate of Southern Utah University, also a graduate of the law school at BYU. I think she's cautiously optimistic about tonight. She is the odds-on favorite in this race, but when you're looking at a race like this with low voter turnout, it really is going to depend on which candidate gets those people out to vote. Last check this morning, the lieutenant governor sent out some numbers, Brian, and voter turnout is 29% in this race. And when you think about a congressional race, it is very, very low. So it's hard to say if it was the candidates that didn't inspire people to get out to vote, if it was because it was at a weird time and crunched up against the Thanksgiving holiday. But people do have those ballots sitting on their countertop for 3 weeks with these mail-in ballots. So in my mind, there's not a lot of excuses, but definitely a different year this year.
You always have to wonder if there was a little confusion too. I mean, they see on the news there's other elections happening weeks ago, and it is the holiday week. Things just happen as we get closer to the holiday season, as you know. But pertaining to this specific race, Malloy really had the rural support to get to this point. Do you feel like she still has that here, even with a low voter turnout?
Yeah, when you look at where the largest areas of support are, they really are in rural Utah. I was going to look at my phone right here to look at the exact numbers. Salt Lake City, which you kind of thought would be some higher voter turnout because that's where you can get your Democratic base excited and turning out for Kathleen Reeby. They also have a mayoral race, you'd think, but they're at 28% and the average is 29%. Some of those more rural counties, I'm going to pull those up for you. Sorry, I have too many things here. We're really where we're seeing the higher numbers at 40%. Let's see, Wayne at 41%. Washington County's at 31%. I was expecting them to be a little higher. Tooele, 23%. They're on the lower end. Sevier was at 34%. Paiute, I think, coming in tops right now at 49% as of this morning. Millard at 37%. Kane at 35%. It's hard to say how many people are going to turn out today, too. We've seen in a couple of the last elections with people worried about those mail-in ballots that they like to turn up on Election Day in person with their ballot in hand and put it in a box themselves instead of putting it in the mail. Will that play into the race? Will that boost those numbers? We're going to start finding that out as we get into 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock tonight, and we start to see exactly how many ballots were turned in. So a lot of question marks still in this race.
Heidi, a big seat to fill following Representative Chris Stewart. Interesting to see these two here duke it out in terms of how many ballots come in tonight. Kathleen Reeby with a lot of experience on Utah's Capitol Hill, and Celeste Malloy with her own fair share of experience in Washington, D.C. Heidi, thank you very much. We're also following today's race for Salt Lake City Mayor. Aaron Mendenhall running for re-election against former Mayor Rocky Anderson, a third candidate, Michael Valentine, also hoping to lead the city. Jim Spiewak joining us from Mendenhall's campaign event tonight. Jim, why is this such a pivotal race? I know there's a lot of experience leading the city between those two candidates, and then Valentine wants in.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. So the incumbent is going up against a former two-time mayor here in Salt Lake City. Brian, just want to give you a quick run of the land here. So to our left is the Aaron Mendenhall campaign headquarters. And then if we come over here to our right, this is where the party is going to be in just a little bit. I want to run through some numbers as we take a look at some of the staff. They're starting to set up out here in the foyer area and the lobby area. Party's going to be just over here to our right. But some of the numbers I wanted to run by you real quick, the amount of money that has been raised so far during this campaign. Rocky Anderson has raised $422,000 and he's spent almost $400,000 of that. On the flip side, Aaron Mendenhall has raised $850,000 and she spent about $750,000 of that. We were just told by her campaign manager that the amount of money that she raised during the cycle is actually a record for a Salt Lake City mayoral race. So right now we're walking into the room where the party is going to be taking place. As you see, some of the staff still setting up some balloons, some signs. This is the podium where we are expecting Mayor Mendenhall to speak at about 9 o'clock, a little bit later tonight. Again, the polls close at 8, so about an hour or so after those numbers come in, those early numbers come in, we are expecting to hear Mayor Mendenhall speak at the podium right here. A couple of the big issues: water was discussed during this entire campaign, crime issues throughout the city, and then of course probably the paramount issue between the candidates was homelessness. Mayor Mendenhall said that during her administration she has raised 400% the investment in affordable housing units. Obviously, housing and the affordability of it in Salt Lake City has been a huge paramount issue for all of the candidates going through. Brian?
Jim, thank you. Impressed with the backward walk there. No issues. That's what we wanted to see here on 2 News Live. Thank you for the update.
Well, there's not many people here right now. Yeah, absolutely. We'll see in a few hours, though, when everyone shows up.
And thank you for the numbers as well. Thank you, Jim. If you haven't voted yet, you still have time. And of course, we've got you covered here. Jim Spiewak at one site. We've got Brian Malahy at another for Rocky Anderson. Heidi Hatch at one site with Celeste Malloy, and Daniel Woodruff at another site there with Kathleen Reeby. So as these election results start to pile in here and as votes are counted, you know where to be. Join us tonight, 2 News, 10 o'clock for your election coverage. Focus on what's next here in Utah with meteorologist Chase Thomason. I've been trying to pry at some of those resorts, Chase, to see if anybody's going to maybe make a little quick move as we get towards the holiday. Maybe an indication tomorrow if someone's going to get sneaky with it here along the Wasatch.
I'm just going to say it's either going to be Alta or Brighton, right?
I'm just shrugging the shoulders.
Do you know something?
Maybe.
Maybe. Okay, we're going to find out. Well, this is going to help things out because we got some mountain snow definitely coming for the holiday. However, that might impact some holiday travel. I think you're going to be just fine for tomorrow. A lot of folks hitting the road to go see grandma or vice versa, right? It's late Thursday and into Friday where we have rain changing to snow. Not going to see a huge winter storm here in the valleys, but we might see dusting, an inch or two, but it should pile up in the mountains. And then it gets cold as we head into the weekend.
So there could be a potential travel impact if you're
Friday morning.
Small chance.
Yeah, Friday morning. If you don't want to drive in any snow, I mean, there's not going to be a lot. Again, in the valleys, I would avoid travel Friday morning.
Well, you know what? You've been spot on with some of these things so far already on the very young winter season. So it
is young, and it's only beginning.
Yes.
Again, technically, it's not even winter yet. So
that's
here we go.
Let's
get to that forecast. We are talking about a little bit of haze. You probably notice here along the Wasatch Front, it's impacting our air quality. High pressure has actually moved in. We'll likely continue to have moderate air quality as we head into your Wednesday and Thursday. And then by the end of the week, we are forecasting cleaner air as that storm begins to blow in and gets rid of all the gunk. High pressure, you get sinking air and it traps that cold air near the surface because of our geography. And so what you're seeing is the haze and the pollution trapped underneath that inversion layer. But high pressure is keeping things very calm and quiet if you're driving anywhere across the region. Now for those temperatures, they're going to get a little chilly for tonight, but not bad, 20s and 30s for overnight lows. This is common for this time of year. Today we saw highs near average. Tomorrow we might be a degree or two above average, but plenty of sunshine, maybe a couple high clouds passing us by, upper 40s and low 50s along the Wasatch Front, but look at Park City, 48, very close to that temperature in Ogden. So that's where we become a little bit inverted. We'll see some mid 50s in central Utah and St. George coming in at 61 degrees, so pretty mild down south. Now here's the developing storm system. Let's going to walk you through it hour by hour. Again, if you're driving anywhere next 24 hours, just fine. There might be a couple light showers to our north and west, but by Thanksgiving, now Thanksgiving morning is going to be fine. You'll have some clouds, but by the afternoon, a little bit of light rain for the valleys and light mountain snow. A little bit heavier though up in Idaho and as you head towards Nevada. That changes though. Main event will be Thursday night and into Friday morning as that rain changes to snow in the valleys of northern and central Utah. Big question, how long will it linger? There might be some light snow through Friday afternoon, especially south of Salt Lake City, so southern end of the Wasatch Front, portions of northeastern Utah and southwestern Wyoming. Maybe just a couple isolated showers down in southern Utah. Not going to get a whole lot from this one. And then by Friday night, there is a slight chance we could see some lake effect south and southeast of the Great Salt Lake, but that's a little bit up in the air. Right now, dusting, inch or two for some of the valleys of northern and central Utah, but locally higher amounts are possible. Mountain valleys, not a ton, 2 to 6. Most of our ski resorts, 6 to 12, with locally higher amounts up the Cottonwood Canyons by Friday night. St. George, 61 degrees tomorrow, 58 on Thanksgiving. We'll have some clouds for Thanksgiving, but the cooler air settles in over the weekend with highs near 50. Those overnight lows go from the mid-30s into the upper 20s as we head into next week. Salt Lake, 50 tomorrow, 46 on Thanksgiving. Not bad. We'll have the cloud cover again and a little rain probably after dinner. And then that rain changes to snow showers throughout the day on Friday. And then it gets cold over the weekend with highs only in the mid-30s. So big Utah-Colorado football game. Bundle up. It will be chilly as we head into next week. Highs upper 30s and low 40s. So kind of a cold forecast, which is good because I know we don't have a whole lot of activity coming our way after this Black Friday storm. So as long as it stays cold, we can make some of that snow at some of those ski resorts.
All right. You know, I know we talked about this a little bit yesterday. I wish that Utah-Colorado game meant a little bit more right now. I really did.
It was looking good early in the season.
I know. I was excited about that too. But nonetheless, Utes fans excited for Coach Prime in town.
That's right.
Coming up this weekend. Prime time on holiday weekend.
Cheer loud, bundle up.
Yeah, absolutely. You're here tomorrow?
Yes.
Okay, we'll talk about Thanksgiving a little bit tomorrow. I want to remind everyone we are not here these 2 days for 2 News Live.
Okay.
I will be here. I'll be working hard, I promise. But 2 News Live, you won't find us Thursday and Friday. We will be with you for our Friday edition tomorrow. So thanks for watching 2 News Live. We hope to have you join us again for more conversations, of course, more in depth on these topics. It's an election night, so please go vote. drive by one of those ballot drop-off spots, have your voice be heard.
And we should get some results on 2 News at 10 o'clock.
Yeah, that's the place to be for your election night coverage. We have all the crew out there. Everybody's staying busy tonight. Join us for 2 News at 10 o'clock for election night results. See ya.